Deep in the rugged mountains of Dagestan, far away from the flashing lights of Las Vegas and the noise of social media, a quiet storm was brewing. After Khabib Nurmagomedov retired undefeated, many believed the era of Dagestan dominance had ended. But they were wrong. Behind closed doors, Khabib was crafting a new kind of champion. His lifelong friend and protege, Islam Makhachev. What began as mentorship quickly evolved into a master plan, one that would reshape the lightweight division forever. Under Khabib's watchful eye, Islam entered what teammates call the secret camp. No distractions, no cameras, just brutal rounds of wrestling, grinding cardio sessions in thin mountain air, and a focus on mental fortitude that bordered on obsession. Khabib wasn't just sharpening Islam's skills. He was transferring a mindset, the same undefeated mentality that made him one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. Every day began before sunrise, with Islam running steep hills while Khabib shouted orders, his voice echoing through the fog. Push harder, champions are made in silence. But Khabib's influence didn't stop at training. He re-engineered Islam's fight IQ, molding him into a patient predator. The plan was simple: dominate in every area. Khabib taught Islam to strike with precision, grapple with suffocating control, and break opponents mentally before breaking them physically. This was Abdul Manap's system, perfected and evolved. Under Khabib, Islam became not just a fighter, but a weapon. When Islam finally captured the UFC lightweight championship, it wasn't just his victory. It was the culmination of Dagestan's martial legacy. In the corner, Khabib's calm smile said it all. The plan had worked. The new king had arrived, built from the same mountain stone that forged Khabib himself. Now, with Islam dominating the division, fans are left asking, who can stop a champion built in Khabib's image? Because when Khabib Nurmagomedov says, "I told you he's next," he doesn't make predictions. He makes promises.
Hands up! Islam, hands up! Don't touch. Don't touch head. 15. 15. Hands up!
High in the rugged mountains of Dagestan, far from the glitz of Las Vegas and the comfort of modern gyms, Islam Makhachev prepares for battle the only way he knows how, through pure discipline and relentless work. His training camp isn't about luxury or technology, it's about tradition, endurance, and mental toughness. Every day begins before the first light of dawn, when most of the world is still asleep. Islam laces up his boots and runs through the steep mountain trails, breathing in the thin, icy air. These hills have raised generations of fighters, and they now shape the lungs of a champion. Under the watchful eye of his mentor and brother-in-arms, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam's camp is a place where weakness simply doesn't survive. Khabib's voice echoes through the gym, sharp, demanding, motivating. Push harder. Again. There's no room for ego here. Every session is built around the core principles passed down by Khabib's late father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. Discipline, humility, and constant evolution. Wrestling drills are repeated until exhaustion. Striking combinations are honed until flawless, and grappling transitions are drilled until they become instinct. Islam's days are a mix of punishment and precision. After morning runs and wrestling sessions, he moves to striking and sparring, refining his power, timing, and balance. Between rounds, Khabib and the team break down strategy, studying every opponent's weakness. But more than technique, the camp focuses on mentality. Islam trains to dominate, not just to win. In his mind, every fight is a test of endurance, patience, and willpower. Despite being a UFC champion, Islam remains grounded. He eats the same simple meals, lives by the same routines, and trains in the same modest facilities that shaped him as a boy. There are no distractions, only the mission. The cold air, the sound of leather gloves hitting pads, and the echo of Khabib's commands fill the camp. As fight night approaches, the transformation is complete. Islam Makhachev emerges from the mountains calm, disciplined, and ready to defend his legacy. To him, victory is not about fame. It's about representing Dagestan, honoring KHABIB'S trust, and continuing the Nurmagomedov legacy of dominance. In every punch, every takedown, and every choke, you can feel the spirit of those mountains. This is not just a training camp. It's the factory where champions are made.
No, 5. Sugar. Good job, guys. 5. 22 minutes.
22 minutes left.
When Islam Makhachev talks about his training camp, his words reflect the same calm confidence he shows inside the Octagon. Quiet, focused, and unshakable. To him, camp isn't just preparation. It's a way of life. Every fight starts here in the mountains, Islam says, standing against the backdrop of Dagestan's steep hills. This is where we build our strength, not just for fighting, but for everything. Out here, there are no distractions, no noise, just work. For Islam, training camp is not about comfort or luxury. The sessions are brutal and unrelenting. Early morning runs through freezing mountain trails, followed by hours of wrestling and grappling in small gyms filled with world-class talent. The intensity is constant. In Dagestan, every round feels like a real fight, he explains. If you survive here, the cage feels easy. Under the guidance of KHABIB Nurmagomedov, Islam's camp is built on the same foundation that produced generations of dominant fighters: discipline, humility, and control. KHABIB watches closely during every drill, correcting small details, demanding perfection. KHABIB doesn't let me relax, Islam admits with a grin. Even when I win, he finds something I need to improve. That's what makes us different. We never think we're good enough. The focus of Islam's camp goes beyond physical strength. Mental toughness is equally important. Each session pushes his limits, testing his patience and endurance. When you train every day with guys like KHABIB, Umar, and Usman Nurmagomedov, there's no easy round. You must stay sharp all the time, he says. We don't train to win, we train to dominate. That's the Dagestani style. Even as a UFC champion, Islam's lifestyle remains simple. He still eats traditional meals, still prays with his teammates after practice, and still trains in the same modest gym that raised him. Fame and attention haven't changed his priorities. Being champion doesn't mean you stop working, he says. You work harder, because now everyone wants your place. As fight night approaches, Islam becomes quieter, more focused. The team around him, KHABIB, Javier Mendez, and his Dagestani brothers, tighten their circle. We believe in each other, Islam says. When I step into that cage, I'm not alone. My whole team, my people, my country, they're with me. For Islam Makhachev, the training camp is not a temporary phase. It's a lifestyle built on purpose, sacrifice, and legacy. This isn't just my camp, he says. This is where champions are made. This is Dagestan.
В сборах были 3 недели, приехали. Опасность, конечно, если человек чемпион на какой-то вес, особенно у нас в организации, там таких проходных не бывает, так что
After Jack Della Madalena's thrilling win to capture the UFC welterweight championship, the MMA world didn't have to wait long for a response from the lightweight king, Islam Makhachev. Just hours after Della's victory, Islam took to social media with a message that instantly set the fight world buzzing. Time to become a double champion, inshallah. Let's go. It wasn't just a casual call-out. It was a statement of intent. Makhachev has dominated the lightweight division with his suffocating grappling and evolving striking. And now he's looking north, toward 170 pounds and a chance to join the rare club of two-division UFC champions. But Islam didn't stop there. In true Dagestani fashion, he followed up with a cold, confident warning directly aimed at the Australian champion. "You are not Folk. I will show you different level. Keep my belt clean." The message was clear. Having already beaten Alexander Volkanovski twice, one of the most technically gifted fighters in UFC history, Islam wanted Jack Della Maddalena to understand the difference between hype and hierarchy. To Islam, this isn't about proving himself. It's about proving that dominance has no weight limit. Inside his camp in Dagestan, Makhachev's focus has already shifted. Training partners say he's been mixing in heavier sparring sessions, adding size, and preparing for a potential move up in weight. Islam doesn't look at names or divisions, one teammate said. He looks at challenges. Jack's win impressed him, but it also motivated him. For Islam, this isn't about chasing fame. It's about legacy. Becoming a double champ would cement his place among the greatest fighters of all time, alongside legends like Daniel Cormier, Amanda Nunes, and Conor McGregor. Jack Della Maddalena, meanwhile, has welcomed the attention, saying he's ready for anyone. But facing Islam is a different kind of test. Makhachev's blend of pressure, wrestling, and precision striking has broken every opponent so far. His warning wasn't just talk, it was a reminder of what happens when someone steps into his world. If this super fight happens, it won't just be champion versus champion. It'll be the battle between two of the most complete fighters in the sport today. For now, Islam Makhachev's message to Jack Della Maddalena echoes across both divisions. Keep my belt clean. Calm, confident, and dangerous. It's the kind of line only a fighter who truly believes in his own dominance can deliver. And when Islam speaks, the world listens.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard fight. Honestly, it's gonna be. I saw his fight against Bilal. He is good, man. He is good. When he beginning fighting in UFC, he had a problem with the wrestling, but now he's improved because I see he training a lot with the wrestlers, with the grapplers, and that's why he's a champion right now, and he's good everywhere. But we will see who is the best fighter in the world.
Yeah,
very soon.
Yeah.
And it's going well.
And that's the story. Islam Makhachev sending a message loud and clear to the new welterweight king, Jack Della Maddalena. The lightweight champ isn't just talking about legacy, he's chasing it. Will we see Makhachev go for double gold next? Only time and the Octagon will tell. Thanks for watching, fight fans. If you love all things MMA, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay locked in right here. This is Octagon HQ, your home for fight news, analysis, and everything UFC.